Right, just came off of watching the finals for the Olympic men's bantamweight division, 56 kilograms or about 123 pounds, between Robeisy Ramirez of Cuba, who wins the gold by split decision over Shakur Stevenson of the United States of America. And I mean, it was a close, tough, competitive bout. All three judges gave Ramirez the first round. All three judges gave Stevenson the second round, and two out of the three judges gave Ramirez the third round. Very close fight, tight fight, very competitive all the way through. One guy would land, the other guy would land. Just very similar styles as well. You know, two southpaws, two guys that kind of shot the jab out there. Stevenson tended to paw the jab a little more and then come around with power shots. Ramirez tended to shoot the jab a little bit more and then, throw his power shots not quite as well leveraged as Stevenson's. But overall, it seemed like Ramirez's overall ability to get off punches and bunches, combinations on Stevenson wound up winning the day, especially because of the fact that Stevenson, while he did land very clean, flashy shots, Ramirez was able to land an immediate comeback counter, either a counter or a counter combination, right back on Stevenson. Whereas a lot of the times when Ramirez would land a shot, Stevenson didn't necessarily have that immediate comeback. It would take him a couple of seconds to reset, readjust, and then get off his own offense. But overall, it was still a close fight. I don't think you could really argue either way as to either guy winning. It's definitely a heartbreaker for Stevenson, considering the fact that he's about to most likely do some pretty good things as a pro. He had Floyd Mayweather there with him in the down there in Brazil, meeting up with him, talking about he was going to sign Shakur Stevenson and everything. And honestly, I think that might have been a little bit of a bad move on Floyd's behalf, because I think when you're trying to basically give a guy his reward before he's even finished doing the job that he went down there to do in order to earn that reward, I think you set them up to not necessarily for failure outright, but to not perform as optimally as they otherwise could. And so I think that there's a possibility that Stevenson may have left a little bit on the table, left a little bit on the shelf there, and basically made it so that he wasn't able to win the rounds that he could have potentially gotten in that fight clearly enough in order to win the gold. But in spite of that, it was still a very solid performance from him as well as Ramirez. Stevenson did a really good job defeating Zenbatar Erdenbat of Mongolia, won a very, very clean, clear-cut decision over him, as well as a very clean, clear-cut decision over his first opponent, Robinilson de Jesus of Brazil, who he fought in the round of 16. Of course, he had a first-round bye. Incidentally, he didn't have a semifinal bout because Vladimir Nikitin of Russia actually wound up getting taken out by the doctors. He wasn't able to perform. He showed up in the medal ceremony with a big black eye from the fight that he had with Michael Conlan, as well as the major gash up around his temple area on his head. So he wasn't able to continue, and it was real unfortunate that Michael Conlan didn't get a chance to fight Stevenson, because I think that would have been a very high level matchup as well. But sometimes we get some iffy decisions in these Olympics, and that was definitely not definitely the case with regards to Conlan and Nikitin. And so it robbed us of one of the potential better fights that we could have witnessed during these Olympics. But Stevenson did a solid job overall. And, of course, Nikitin wound up coming home with the bronze. In spite of the Conlan controversy, he did a solid job against Chachai Bhuti of Thailand and Boya Wadawada of Vanuatu. And he did a solid job for himself. Earned at least a good bit of success, in spite of the fact that most people, including myself, didn't think that he deserved to get the bronze medal. That should have at least been Conlan. And then on the other side of it, there was Murodjan Akhmadaliev, who wins a bronze medal for Uzbekistan, who himself did a solid job before losing to Robeisy Ramirez in the semifinals. Oh yeah, I didn't even run down Ramirez's fights that he had. He defeated Shiva Thapa by dominant decision in the first round of India. Defeated Mohamed Habmout of Morocco, and probably one of the tougher fights that he had in these Olympic Games. He wound up winning that by a split decision. Close, tough fight. Mohamed Habmout is going to be, I think he'll be one of those guys that could be potentially a very solid pro. Defeated Zhao Wei Zhang of China in the quarterfinals, and a pretty competitive fight as well, in spite of the fact that Robeisy Ramirez won that by unanimous decision. I think Zhao Zhang could potentially be a good rival for any of these guys as a pro. And then, of course, defeated the aforementioned Murodjon Akhmadaliev of Uzbekistan in the semifinals before defeating Shakur Stevenson by the split decision in the finals to win the gold medal. Of course, you know, some other guys to look out for in this division, potentially as pros, somewhere between Bantamweight 118, Super Bantamweight 122, Featherweight 126. You got Alberto Melian of Argentina, who I thought was a pretty solid fighter. Michael Conlan, of course, of Ireland, who I think is most definitely going to be turning pro after the controversy that he suffered in these Olympics. Shakur Stevenson, absolutely, of course. You know, he's going to definitely get very big promotion and a lot of coverage. And then, you know, Robeisy Ramirez, it'd be nice to see him be able to turn pro, but with the Cuban fighters, a lot of the times it's tough because as of right now, they are not allowed nationally to turn pro by their government to become professionals. They're only allowed to fight as amateurs for the glory of the country, for the glory of the state. And but he managed to bring home some more glory. This is his second gold medal in a row. Won a gold medal at the flyweight division back in 2012, and won a gold medal here at the bantamweight division in 2016. And I think that's pretty much going to do it for me with the bantamweight recap. I will catch you guys shortly on the next one. I'm going to do a recap for the women's flyweights as well as the men's middleweights as soon as they conclude. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.